Must I remind you of my superiority?
Superman is the superhero. He may not be everyone's favourite superhero, but he's 100% the best superhero. No character embodies the ideals of truth and justice like Superman. The hope he inspires, the absolute peak of mankind's emotions. He's just the best. So, if Superman is the superhero, shouldn't he have the supervillain? Enter Lex Luthor. If Superman embodies selflessness, Luthor embodies selfishness. Clark Kent's respect and love for the common man is countered hard by Lex's sheer arseholishness. He's such a knobhead that he's the one man Superman has ever given up on. But, let's be honest, the main continuity of DC has always been too wild for us to tame, so instead, we're going to check out some multiverse variants of the 40 Cake Felon, and we're going to see if every universe is bought and paid for by Baldy's billions. Welcome to Lex Luthor, Across the Multiverse. To start, I don't know why half my videos are about Russian characters, I've never even been there. I swear to God I'm not a sleeper agent. Superman Red Sun sees a Superman that Luthor just might be in the right to fight against. One fateful day in the 20th century, Lois Luthor awakens to news that will change the planet Earth forever. The Iron Curtain is about to be lifted to unveil a weapon that will make communism the way of the world. The President of the United States addresses his country with the bad news. The Russians have revealed the existence of some sort of Superman. Super strong, indestructible, all-knowing, all-seeing, and allied solely to Soviet Russia. The Superman has all of America caught in fear. How can they possibly hope to stand against such an unstoppable enemy? America has one hope, and one hope alone. Dr. Lex Luthor, Star Labs' premier genius, the smartest man alive in the great city of Metropolis. Special Agent James Olsen meets with Luthor to discuss a strategy that might bend the Man of Steel. But even Mastermind Lex seems stumped 3 months later, and Lex has nothing to show for it, but he's adamant he will crack the code. Genius doesn't work on a timetable after all. He'll solve this puzzle, just like all the rest. A few days later, a report on the Soviet space race in the Daily Planet tips Lex off to a dangerous, yet brilliant scheme. The Sputnik satellite crashes out of the sky, headed straight for Metropolis. The Russian Superman breaks borders to redirect the Hulk and Steel away from any casualties, actually saving millions of American lives. All according to plan, super fool. But I'm not sure Lex's wife falling in love with the Soviet Man of Steel was part of the plan. What is it with comic book writers? I swear to God. Lex is a funny bastard here as well, swearing that if Superman was American, he'd probably be his best friend. But well, we play the hand we're dealt. And speaking of hands, Lex as the CIA scrapes Sputnik's remains for stray Superman DNA, swearing he's gonna make America a Superman of its own. While Lex gets busy working, Superman gets busy playing. He builds political pacts to the Amazons of Paradise Island, Themyscira, by befriending its princess, Diana. And he makes a few enemies when his masters murder rebellious Russians in the streets, but hey, he's Superman. I'm sure this won't come back to bite him. Finally, Lex has a weapon for America to deploy against the Russians, a Superman of their very own, created by a mind that's fueled by the very challenge the Kryptonian poses against Luthor's superior mind. But, compared to the Russians' one, America's Superman seems a bit bizarre. Superman learns of the US Superman, alongside a plan for America to increase its nuclear power in the UK. All the while, Superman is refusing to take the reins of the Soviet state after Stalin's death. Don't tell Lex I said this. But Superman still seems quite heroic in this world. He wants to stand up for the little guy, while America just can't stand someone else having the power. A nuclear submarine guided by the bizarro Super Patriot heads towards the United Kingdom at speed, and even the Americans seem terrified of the zombie-looking ugly bastard. And now they'll be really scared because their journey is halted by the Superman. The Red Sun assaults his deathly doppelganger near London, and we finally see if Luthor's brains can match the Soviet brawn. But this Bizarro's very life is a warped reflection of the Superman. The commie's X-ray vision manifests in Bizarro as a burning radioactive wave that decimates all in its glow. The submarine is bathed in radiation and, in panic and pain, it lets loose a nuke. Before Superman can stop the rocket, Bizarro's assault continues. It pounds the Man of Steel through London, not caring about how many people die in the destruction. If anything, this fiasco makes Russia look good to the outside world. The Brits cheer on Super Soviet, wanting this monster dead as fast as possible, and demanding America stay out of British business. Bizarro even seems to understand the hatred. Oh shit, yeah, the nuke, it's coming. And before Superman can save the day, Bizarro strikes one final time. With Superman frozen solid, Bizarro takes to the skies, grabs the nuclear rocket, and guides it into the sun, making the only victim of the destroyer Bizarro himself. As Lex wants to murder Superman, his wife wants to shag him, but unlike Marvel's kingpin of crime, Lex does not want that cuck life. In fact, he presses pause on his marriage with Lois so he can focus on this Superman thing. He sees Bizarro's defeat as pure humiliation, and he will not rest until he's paid the Kryptonian back in blood. This Red Sun is about to go supernova. Years later, their rivalry goes on. Luthor attempts to mug off Superman by teaming up with the alien mastermind Brainiac, but that plan's screwed up when the dumbass Zeno bottles the wrong city. Superman, as usual, saves the day, and he even reprograms Brainiac into an ally to the Soviet state. But if we're being petty, which is Lex's specialty, get onto this. Superman doesn't know how to restore the city of Stalingrad to its usual size. Take that, super jerk! Not so smart now, are ya? Lex and Brainiac have reduced innocent people to near nothing, stealing their independence and making them rely on the whims of madmen. And this disgusts Superman. This adventure was but one of many over the years, and just like all the others, this defeat does nothing to deter Lex from getting back up and trying again. I think we can all learn something about perseverance here. Almost every regular villain of the Man of Steel is created by Lex and the American government solely as weapons to depose or destroy Soviet Superman. It's Parasite, he's badass, and Metallo, he's just cool, dude. But the Soviet Steel won every time, and that's not to say Lex is Superman's only concern. The Batman holds the Winter Wonderland in terror as Luthor toils in the U.S.A. Lois Luthor, despite her inner desires, remains faithful to her husband even as his hair gets thinner and thinner. She sticks by her husband's side through sickness and health, for better or worse. And it's looking like better might be on the way, because new intel tells Lex that Superman and Brainiac aren't the only aliens on the planet Earth. There may still be hope, if Lex has the will. The president himself leads the Luthors to Roswell, New Mexico, where long ago an alien spaceship conspiracy began that just might turn America's darkest night into its brightest day. A dying alien, wearing on its finger a trinket of unimaginable power. In the decades since, no mind has been able to work the green ring to discover its true potential. But none of those minds were Lex Luthor. Once again, years pass. Superman looks down upon a world so close to paradise. The global Soviet Union has almost perfected life on Earth. No crime, control of the environment down to the raindrop. A worldwide Soviet utopia spoiled by only one self-destructively rebellious aspect. The United States of America. Utter chaos reigns, people starve on the streets, and violence tears America apart. Brainiac suggests invasion to force them to join the communist life, but Superman doesn't want any blood spilt. He wants to find a better way. But before he can, Luthor finds it first. Elected president. Lex pulls the US back from the brink on his stance of anti-Superman. But Lex, mate, we're not getting any younger. Better crack on. President Lex makes America financially self-sustaining, closing his borders to the outside world and seizing control of every dollar the US has. He reunites the country and makes America a superpower once again, all in his pursuit to destroy Superman. But not every Yank is happy with President Lex. His own wife, Lois, has the true love of her life, the Daily Planet, torn from her because she believes Lex can't stand the idea of her loving anything except him. Yet still, Lois stands by her man. America lives on. Surely that rubs Superman the wrong way. President Luthor swears that the US's comeback will force the crypto-communists to invade. Lucky for CIA head James Olsen, and America as a whole, Luthor has a plan. Within the Phantom Zone, safe at last from super hearing, Luthor unveils to Olsen his newest, greatest scheme to destroy Superman. Codename Green Lantern. Luthor has cracked the poetic code to the power within the rings, and he's mass-produced them to fuel a new army and leading the charge. Hal Jordan, who just might be the only man who hates Superman more than Luthor does. He was held prisoner in a Russian gulag for years, surviving only because of his inhuman willpower. That same power now charges his alien ring, and for Superman, it's lights out. After years of the stalemate and the grim fate of Princess Diana, the Amazons of Paradise Isle grow weary of Superman. So much so, they ally with Luthor for a coup, all thanks to First Lady Lois. In Russia, Brainiac continues to push Superman into war with America. He's unrelenting. His data only tells of disaster should America continue to thrive. Superman seems to be open to listening, but it's too late for that, alien. Because here's Lex Luthor. He's invaded Superman's very citadel because he wants to watch his ultimate victory up close. Everyone watching at home, speak the chant with me, my brothers. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. But still, the biggest threat is, and always has been, Lex Luthor. The Lanterns and the Amazons are merely a warm-up exercise for the Battle of the Minds these two have been fighting for decades. Finally, it's time for a shot. Lex, look out! Brainiac, you cheating bastard! The alien brain swallows Lex whole, fearing what a man like Luthor could do to damage his man of Soviet steel. But even if Lex is gone, his plan is still in motion. We lost President Lex, but his legacy lives on with his swan song scheme. The Green Lantern army and Amazon coup spark the war Superman was so afraid it would come to. Superman meets the Lanterns head on, and for guys whose rings work on will and confidence, they absolutely shit themselves as soon as Superman swoops in. Even the bloodthirsty General Jordan can't think fast enough to light up Soviet Superman. And the backup plan of the Amazon Express doesn't fare that much better either. As these wonders clash in the sky, Washington gives its absolutely final effort in destroying Superman. They release every supervillain they've ever created to defend the White House. But, finally, after decades of battle, Luthor has managed to piss Superman off. He's done playing nice. Superman and Brainiac attack the White House, tearing through the bad guys and military like nothing. Until only one obstacle stands against Russia seizing America. Mrs. Lois Luthor. Superman begs her to move, but Lois refuses. She holds in her pocket the ultimate, final weapon her husband developed to destroy Superman. Lex's final stroke isn't the power-draining parasite, it isn't self-made men of steel like Metallo, or a legion of lanterns. Superman's downfall doesn't come from superpower or firepower. It comes from a simple question. Why don't you just put the whole world in a bottle, Superman? Just like Brainiac had done with Stalingrad, Superman has reduced humanity to victims dependent on his own whims, stripping them of their independence. Superman realizes he is the monster here, and Superman weeps. But there's no time to cry. Brainiac reveals he was never reprogrammed. This was all part of his own master plan to conquer the world using the Soviet hero as a tool, and not even Superman can stop him now. But you know who can? Lex goddamn Luthor. He lived, bitch! He's unplugged Brainiac at the source, and he's finally shown that the world, humanity, does not need a super overlord. But shit, they don't call him Brainiac just for banter. His emergency explosive failsafe begins to tick down. 60 seconds before the black hole generators of his skull ship burst, absorbing and destroying the entire planet. If we ever did need a hero, now's the time, and Superman, still reeling from the realization, regret heavy in his soul, knows what he must do. Superman pushes the skull ship back into the cold clutches of space, where its cosmic calamity can catch only one being in its wake: the Superman. And so, after almost a century of battle, Lex Luthor claims victory over Superman, and life on Earth can finally return to the path it should have been on before the cosmic communist emerged. The planet Earth revels in humanity's victory, finally free from the Man of Steel's iron grip. Luthor becomes mankind's greatest saviour. The world is united at last under the banner of mortal men. A new golden age begins, disease is destroyed, war and poverty obliterated. Mankind takes to the stars and colonizes the solar system, again proving themselves as the universe's golden children. And finally, at the age of over 1,000, Luthor dies remembering his greatest triumph: the defeat of Superman. He's laid to rest in Metropolis, long ago renamed Lexor, and his funeral has a strange guest who fortunately no one recognises. And it says here, he did keep the Daily Planet going as well, so he did love Lois after all. That's nice, maybe it wasn't so bad. Lex was dead, but the Luthor lineage lived on for millennia, until his great-grandson to the power 50, a great scientist named Jor-El, and he's made an awful discovery. The sun is set to swallow the planet Earth whole. Earth's government fails to heed his warnings, but the planet's as good as dead. Jor-El refuses for this to be the end of his beloved son, Kal. So Jor-El and his wife Lara send their infant son back in time to an era where humanity still had a chance to be better. But can you guess where his pod's gonna land? Talk all the shit you want, Luthor fully won in this one. Yeah, he never killed Superman, but he did convince him that Luthor was right. And not only that, but Luthor went on to lead humanity into an absolute millennia of prosperity. All in all, a good showing. But even if he was fighting a good fight, this Lex was still a bad man. Imagine a world where Luthor truly was a good person, a hero. Well, Justice League of America Earth 2 gives us such a Lex. It's confusing because to me the evil world is Earth 3, but I don't know why they changed it for this. Inside a watchtower on Earth's moon, a Man of Steel, a Dark Knight, and an Amazon discuss what is to be done about Lex Luthor. A whole universe away, a rocket crash lands in a field, spotted by a young couple. The two approach cautiously, worried about anyone who could be inside the ship. But this isn't the origin you think it is. Not a baby, but a man emerges from the scrap metal. Lex goddamn Luthor, and he's here to see the superheroes. The Justice League of America. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, The Flash, and Green Lantern. Earth's greatest champions rescue a crashing plane that seems to have appeared from nowhere. The heroes catch the plane, but those aboard aren't so lucky. They're already dead. But the weirder thing is their anatomy seems mirrored. Organs are on the wrong side, and the money has Benedict Arnold instead of George Washington. How strange. Meanwhile, Luthor is acting wildly out of character. He's redirecting funds from the weapons development into charities and granting his employees unheard of raises. But it's not all good at LexCorp. That plane that the League had caught was not the one scheduled to be on that flight path. It had replaced a LexCorp plane, and the word Lex brings the League straight to Luthor, a fact old Baldy seems happy about. Immediately, the Justice League sense something different about their old foe, and not just that he insists they call him by his full name, Alexander. This man is Alexander Luthor, a refugee from an Earth so similar, yet so different from the League's own. Born in a dark reflection of the DC universe where evil triumphs eternally, and an evil league of villains rules the world. But Alex doesn't want sanctuary, he wants backup. On the crime earth of hopelessness, Ultraman and his loyal servant Brainiac summon a meeting of the Crime Syndicate, counter Earth's mightiest monsters in preparation for Alexander's latest attack. While on the Justice Earth of good vibes, Luthor warns the League of the enemy he wants their help against: Ultraman, Owlman, Superwoman, Power Ring, and Johnny Quick. While Superman seems happy to help, Batman calls an emergency meeting. Batman believes they've got enough problems in their reality already, but the rest of the League refuse to turn a blind eye to someone needing their help. The proud Alex Luthor has asked for their help, and the Justice League won't let him down. Superman's words hit home with Batman, and they plan their adventure to the antimatter universe. Alex, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash and Green Lantern blast off to bring justice to a lawless Earth. And funny enough to Alex, Earth 2 refers to the world the League live on, not his own. Suppose everyone wants their Earth to be Earth 1, don't they? On the antimatter world, the Crime Syndicate discuss their options. They know what Luthor's planning, but instead of fear, they're excited. Another reality, another Earth to conquer, and counterparts that will truly test the Syndicate's strength. The heroes land on the evil Earth, a grim, hopeless rock where even the innocent might not be worth saving, but Luthor plans to try anyway. The element of surprise is on the League's side, so they're gonna hit hard and hit fast. This world shakes even Superman. Evil taints every move the people make. It's time these people believed in hope again. It's time they believed a man could fly. I hope you're not expecting a cool fight between the Justice League and the Crime Syndicate, because I'm afraid you're not going to get one. Flying into combat and hurting people, does that sound very heroic to you, even if the people you hurt are maniac supervillains? This is the Justice League, mate. They don't have to resort to fisticuffs. Not when Green Lantern can just imprison the Crime Syndicate on the moon base with his energy ring. Genuinely funny. Why would we even give the bad guys a chance to win a fight? Just trap him early and be done with it. The only Syndicate member not on the moon and still on the loose is the Team Bike Superwoman, but she gets drawn in by Luthor's trickery and one-bombed by Wonder Woman, and that's it. Earth is saved. Great job, Alex. Superwoman gets teleported in with her co-conspirators and left to rot in their moon base, and finally, Alex has the chance to repair the damage the Syndicate have caused his planet. He's got 48 hours of the League's time, and he uses it wisely. The message is sent all across the world. The Syndicate has been defeated, the people are free, and justice, at last, has come to antimatter Earth. Luthor teams up with Brainiac to clean up the mess Ultraman and his crew left, as the League go on mission after mission worldwide to provide aid to those who need it. But corruption runs deep on this Earth. Superman meets with the President and has to refuse several bribes. The police Batman helps end up as bloodthirsty as the gangsters they take down. All the while, the Crime Syndicate seethe in their self-made prison. Their counterparts tear down all they'd worked to achieve, but a thought occurs to Owlman. This Justice League aren't the only doppelgangers to cross dimensions. The corpses on the airplanes had also swapped sides, so if the Syndicate's copycats are here, the cosmic scales must be balanced on the opposite Earth. The Crime Syndicate shift into the Justice League's world. The League are in a panic, and no one takes it harder than Alex Luthor. It seems he is a genuinely nice fella on this Earth, not just because he fights bad guys, but because he cares. The League try to rush back to their own Earth, but home has more heroes than just these 5.
How dare you come here and do this? How dare you threaten the people of this planet in my presence? Killed a white Martian once. He was my first rival. You'll die just as easily as he. No more killing. I can modify my molecular structure in response to any thought you form. This is not combat. You were already beaten the moment you chose to engage me. Rip your spine out!
Holy shit, how cool is the Martian Manhunter? The rest of DC's mightiest fend off the invading villains, but the true threat is actually the opposite Earth itself. Jesus Christ, Brainiac again, twice in a row. Brainiac seems to be more than Ultraman's butler. He's been manipulating them all to bring about an end to his slavery. Forever. The alien explorer plans to have both the Earths smashed together, killing every single person on both sides of the looking glass. The only way to phase both orbs back to safety is by putting all the pieces back where they belong. With heavy hearts, the Justice League have no choice but to abandon Lex Luthor and his entire Earth and return home. And the evil Crime Syndicate once again take control of their cowering kingdom. To ensure this can never happen again, Brainiac is obliterated by Ultraman for his betrayal, and the small taste of hope and freedom the people below had is ripped away from them as the Justice League and all they stand for slowly fade away. But one man doesn't give up hope. One man continues to fight the oppressive evil of the Crime Syndicate. One man remains a hero. Alexander Luthor. The concept of Earth 3 is cool as hell, dude. A world where the good guys are bad and the bad guys are good. It's got infinite potential for storytelling. Like, what did key adventures look like in this universe? Did Bane break Owlman's back and bring order to Gotham? Did What's So Funny About Truth, Justice and the American Way have a gang of even edgier villains for Ultraman? Show me Earth 3 Killer Moth, you cowards. This was a cool example, but Alex, being the only hero is a bit lame. I like when he's got his own League of Justice because I like seeing heroic villains. A world with only one hero doesn't seem very fun, so for the last one, we're going to have to check out one of the wilder Luthors out there. Go grab your helmets, grab your war bonds, and grab your shields, because it's time for the Super Soldier. Super Soldier, alongside his sidekick Brooklyn Barnes and his teammates American Belle, Wiz, Human Lantern and Aquamarina, form the all-star winner squadron to keep America safe from the Nazi menace. Only this time, Super Soldier must travel alone to recapture stolen government equipment in a secret mission he immediately tells his crew about anyway. It's a shame he can't bring his teammates along, because far away, those naughty Nazis scheme. Led by the nefarious Major Zemo, those Third Reich rapscallions have new help in dominating the Earth. A mysterious scientist who proclaims robotics as the key to Hitler's victory. Oh shit, the Nazis have a big wheel! America, Europe, all of Earth is surely screwed now. Or at least it would be. If not for Super Soldier, the Sentinel of Liberty destroys the super weapons with ease, rescues the prisoners of war, and secures the government equipment. Another battle won for our Stars and Stripes Superman. But the mastermind behind the machines, Luthor, escapes unseen to plot another day, and believe me, he's plotting. And with this newly discovered alien metal, he'll build a robot so powerful it will give Super Soldier one deadly, dishonorable discharge.
The nightmare of the Nazis, it's Super Soldier. In the years since joining the war effort, Super Soldier continues to fight the good fight on the front lines of World War II. Accompanied by loyal reporter and friend Jimmy Olsen, the Star-Spangled Savior kept hope alive throughout the Allied forces. Until the rise of Ultra Metallo, a deadly Nazi robot fueled by a mysterious power that could match even our red, white and blue-eyed boy. A skirmish over the North Atlantic ends in disaster as Super Soldier takes the robot for an icy dip that neither return from. The war was all but won, and news of Double S's demise was omitted to spare our troops the blow to morale. And, in our hero's honor, the Allied forces put an end to old Adolf for good.
But that wasn't the end of Super Soldier, much to Luthor's displeasure. The Stars and Stripes Man of Steel returned in the modern day, having been frozen in ice for decades, and after 50 years, Luthor, now a sinister green skull due to kryptonite poisoning, knows his Ultra Metallo robot was a success. Luthor has Old Man Olsen beaten to a pulp and has him deliver a message to Super Soldier, a challenge to meet in Washington for a final showdown. Super Soldier had been onto Luthor's involvement before he went in the ice, despite the general populace believing Luthor to be a good but reclusive billionaire. Super Soldier laments how his failure to defeat Ultra Metallo led to Lex being free to cause trouble for the 50 years since. But no more, darn it. This ends today. A sentiment Green Skull shares, he willingly shows himself at the headquarters of the evil Hydra because he wants to witness Super Soldier's death in person, and Luthor's got just the weapon to put our Yankee Doodle do-gooder down for good. The Ultra Metallo Robot. This malicious machine stomps through Washington on a beeline for the White House because as soon as it sets foot on the president's lawn, the bomb in its chest reduces America's capital to a crater. The alien metal power source within Ultra Metallo puts it on Soldier's level, even weakening the hero through exposure. Luthor mocks through his microphone in the safety of his bomb shelter as he watches his hatred enemies struggle to keep up. Through his chatter, Lex reveals the power source to be the same element that gave Super Soldier his powers, nicknamed Green K. Lex injected himself with some and made bombs with the rest, one of which is about to obliterate the whole state. And once Washington's doomed, foolish America will beg Lex to lead them back to glory, and there won't be a Super Soldier to stand against him. It would be a perfect plan, but one part seems to have gone over the Green Skull's bald emerald head. Green K radiation can't penetrate lead. Super Soldier uses pipes to pierce the hide of Ultra Metallo and safely extract the radioactive bomb from the rampaging robot. And then he takes it right back to its owner. Green Skull is foiled, and finally, after all these years, Lex Luthor pays for his crimes. Once again, justice and liberty wins the day. God bless you, Super Soldier. Even though it seems no effort went into combining Superman and Captain America's uniforms, this was actually quite fun. Let me know if you'd be interested in more Amalgam Universe videos, because I'm interested now after this. So yeah, we've more or less ran the gauntlet on Lex here today. We saw one who did bad things for the right reasons, one who did good things for good reasons, and one who did bad things for bad reasons. Or maybe peons like us weren't meant to understand a man like Lex Luthor. Maybe he's simply too smart for us. Maybe his way of thinking really is what's best for mankind, and the existence of a Superman is detrimental for humanity in the long run. Well, either way, one thing's for sure. He's a better villain than the Joker.